I was going through the Mahabharat the other day, and I was in one of the earlier parts. And I was going through the scene where King Shantanu's wife, the river goddess Ganga, takes their first baby to the river and drowns it. King Shantanu has made a promise to the goddess Ganga, and that promise is that no matter what she does, he will not question her. So he silently watches and weeps. Later, we are told that the reason the goddess was drowning the babies is because those babies were actually divine beings who had been cursed to be born on earth. So, by drowning them, she was actually freeing them from their curse. After reading these scenes, I was struck by a strange thought, and that thought had to do with the kind of feelings that this scene evoked in me. When I was reading about the babies drowning, I was feeling sad because obviously, who wouldn't feel sad at the sight of a baby being drowned in a river by its own mother as the father of the baby watches? But then I was told that the babies were divine beings and everything was okay because if it's going according to a plan, then no matter how twisted the plan is, it's all okay. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a tragedy, it wasn't a bad thing. It was part of a plan, and that makes everything better. The reason I'm talking about this is because I wanted to talk about why mythological stories contain so much magic, why they contain so many divine plans, why they contain so many secret reasons behind things that happen. And often the things that happen are terrible. I gave you one example, but there are examples like this across mythology in every religion. Islamic mythology has it, Christian mythology has it. Every religion, I suppose, on some level, has stories that are tragic, but they have super cool explanations behind them. So let's talk about why that is. Why do mythological stories contain so much magic when they don't actually have to? Like, if the purpose of a mythological story is to be a cultural artifact that unites people, it can do that without having magic, right? You can have a story about a brave prince who fought who fought another king and brought his wife back. You can have a story about a great teacher who told people nice things and then went back to wherever he came from. My theory is that it's because magic is a way to alleviate suffering. Magical thinking exists in mythological stories because if it didn't, these stories would be horrific tragedies. A person comes to earth and tells people nice things about being good to each other, and yet he is crucified. But wait, everything is okay because he comes back to life. It's magic, it was all according to a plan, and things are all hunky dory now. So you don't need to feel bad. A child is persecuted and killed, and it's very tragic, but wait, it's all okay because that child is now a star in the sky. Did someone die? Was it painful for you? Did it rip your life apart? Wait, it's all okay. That person is not really dead. They're in another world having the best of times. So you don't really need to feel bad. I think the reason mythological stories contain magic is because life is terrible. And these stories by themselves cannot be processed without at least some kind of a band aid. You've lost people, and I have lost people too. And I can tell you from personal experience that I would like nothing better than to know that the people who I have lost did not die in pain and are now permanently gone. I would like to believe that they're having a great time in another world. And when someone tells me a story about them having a great time in another world, I want to believe it. Every fiber of my being wants to believe that the people who I have lost, close people, family members, friends, etc., who I loved very much, who are gone from my life and this world now, I would love to believe that they're not gone. And therefore, the stories that tell me that they're not gone have value for me. And that is the reason mythologies have magic. Tragedy is an inescapable part of life. We all have to deal with it. And different people deal with it in different ways. But since imagination is a quality that all human beings share, we all dream, we all make up stories, we all lie, We all imagine things that are not, cannot be, and will never be. So, it is not a surprise that mythological stories have so much magic in them. I think the purpose of them being there is to alleviate suffering to a certain extent. And that's okay. It is the property of all literature. Literature is about alleviating suffering, or at least crying out in pain so that other people may be able to hear you and say, yes, I have gone through that also, you are not alone. When you think about it, when you think about the human condition, the condition that we are all in, the condition that the human species finds itself in, given that it lives on a small planet with a lot of dangers, in a corner of a galaxy, in a universe where so much more exists. When you think about all this, you come to the gradual realization that we had to do something about the overwhelming sense of helplessness that surrounds us. We had to do something to feel good. Otherwise, we may have gone mad. Human beings, for better or for worse, are imaginative animals. And our imagination is a tool that has helped us create a lot of things that make our life easier. We have created machines that protect us. We have created structures that help us survive weather. We have created devices that make our lives easier. One such device is literature. It is a technology that we created to alleviate human suffering. Every story, on one level at least, is about feeling good. Maybe the good feeling that you get from reading one story is a sense of wonder, and that sense of wonder protects you against despair and hopelessness. Maybe the feeling that you get from a story is fear, and that sense of fear protects you from a feeling of numbness. You feel something, at least. Maybe the feeling you experience after reading a story is love and affection, and that feeling protects you from giving up on human connection. It keeps you within society. It makes you reach out to other people and tell them that you love them, and if you are fortunate, hear from them that they also love you. Literature, like any other human technology, was created to alleviate human suffering. Mythology is literature. So when I say that a mythological story is just a story, I'm not insulting it. In fact, I'm actually giving it more respect than it probably deserves. The reason we run into trouble with mythological stories is that there are two kinds of stories. One is the honest story, and the other is the dishonest story. The honest storyteller will tell you a story and say, hey, this is just a story. It's for you. It's for you to enjoy. It's for you to feel good because the world sucks and I think you deserve to be happy. The dishonest storyteller will tell you a story and then expect you to believe that that story is a literal description of reality. That is what happens with mythology. They're great stories. They're beautiful stories. Sometimes they're bad stories. Sometimes they're terrible stories used for really bad purposes. But they are stories. Because if we accept mythological stories as just stories, we will see them for what they really are. Attempts by human beings to feel good in a universe that doesn't really care about them. And that is a good thing to realize. A mythological story does not become less important because you think of it as a story. It becomes more important by becoming part of human history itself, by becoming part of the effort by human beings across the ages, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of known history, to make each other feel happy. That was my rant about magic and mythology. This is the kind of stuff that I do on this channel. If you liked it, you can subscribe so that the next time I do this kind of thing, you get notified and you can watch the video and maybe get something to think about. Thank you for watching.